The opinions you hear are that of the host and callers and do not necessarily reflect the opinion of 102.5 The Bone.
Are you ready? All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, Lisa, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Miggs and Swig. It is actually just Miggs and Swig today.
Just the way it's supposed to be, baby.
Well, as God intended. Hey, is it Swig or Swigs?
Originally it was Swig, and since
that's how your parents gave it to you.
that is a family name,
Okay, there you
and
go.
I actually had to provide my ID to Mike Calta because he did not believe that my middle name was Swig, which it is. But ever since we came on the Bone, everybody has decided that it would sound better, and it should be Miggs and Swigs. So yesterday I was on the air with Drew Garabo, and I actually said the Miggs and Swigs show. So whatever, it's a swig, and if you want to put an S on it, it's fine.
You don't care.
No, I don't care because it's not my. I mean, it's my middle name, but it's not my.
All right.
Yeah, I don't care if it sounds right. You know, if you dig it and you want an S on it, throw an S on it. I don't care because I before I quit drinking, I took a lot of swigs.
Yeah.
So I can understand
Swigs.
wanting to make it plural. I was not a single swig. I was a swigs.
You were a Swigs.
Yeah, many swigs.
Hey, speaking of what we can do to Benny, we were supposed to Botox Benny today, and we're not going to do that till next week. But you're cool with that still happening?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm fine.
You can't get. I mean, you're either down
Sure,
with it.
put a little botulism in my face. What could go wrong?
I mean, I'm going to need to do something. I'm struggling.
Yeah, we took Christmas card pictures, and I was looking at the pictures. And you know when you just get that moment where you look at yourself and you're like, yeah, I'm not 32 anymore.
Yep.
I'm not 25 anymore. So I got some wrinkles. I got Botox a while. I haven't had Botox in a long time, but you know what? It's funny because it doesn't seem to work on me. And maybe it's something that our friends at South Tampa Dermatology can figure out. But I got it done, and then the wrinkles were still there, or it wore off really quickly. And I guess somebody told me once that metabolism. If you have fast metabolism, I guess your body likes to eat botulism, but it goes away quickly. So it just wouldn't work. And then, like, I have the crow's feet or whatever. So maybe they're better and they know what to do.
Well, I had a doctor friend say to me the other night, I went all haughty-taughty and had...
oh, you did?
I had dinner at Palmacia Golf Club.
Wow.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called.
All right. I had dinner there. It was a very nice dinner.
Would that be considered hotty-totty?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a country club, but it's not. I mean, was it at the restaurant or was it like at a private party?
No, it was not a private party. It was us and the old mayor, Dick Greco.
Oh, okay.
You know Dick?
I know Dick.
Good guy. So we went there and had a little dinner, and his wife, Linda McClintock, also owns does needles in the face sort of thing too. I mean, she should really just go and work at South Tampa Dermatology. They're our very favorite in the whole world, because I just realized I shouldn't be talking about someone else. Jim, don't kill me. But she said to me, oh yeah, the reason why you wrinkle up a lot is because you sing and you make a lot of facial expressions. She said, so when you're talking, just train yourself not to use your forehead.
Oh, right.
Right? Roland just turned to look like, so what are you supposed to do? You just don't. And I'm like, how do you do that, Linda? She goes, no, really, you just do this and you just don't use your forehead.
That's just crazy talk.
So that's
it's funny because that's one of the excuses, I guess, the person who did the last Botox to me said was, I have such a strong smile. Right, that she said you shouldn't smile as wide, or basically some of the same extent, because your muscles, I guess, will break through the botulism. I don't know.
Rowan has something to say.
What's wrong with growing old gracefully?
I agree.
I don't.
I mean, Anderson Cooper.
Go on.
Is one of the hottest dudes around, right? And he's getting older.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you don't think
Ooh,
he
Anderson's-
wears more makeup than my wife wore last night when we went to a party?
I didn't see your wife last night, but
Well, she was looking smoking
But I
hot.
saw her this morning.
no, I mean he's on TV and stuff like
Right.
that. But he is a handsome man.
Good-looking dude.
But his face does not move. Yeah, he doesn't dye his hair, but his face does not move when he talks.
Rowan, he gave me the once over at an NBA game once.
Really?
Yeah, he gave
How'd
me a
that
look.
feel?
My wife actually, if she were here, she'd confirm it. He gave me a look over, and I was thinking to myself, it's Anderson Cooper. Maybe I'll kiss him.
But he does keep his hair graying.
He doesn't keep it.
Graying gracefully, I guess. But he is caked on with the makeup.
But all of that aside,
all of it.
it is about like, can you grow? I want to be able, like, right. I just stopped.
Well, we talked
Wait,
about this.
I didn't dye my hair, which is really color.
and
you don't dye.
and I think you look better.
and
that
you
way.
like it this way
Because I agree with you, Roland, in a lot of sense. And every woman out there is probably going to hate me right now.
And if you hate Ben, that's an easy call.
Yeah.
800-771-1025. Please, we only have several lines. If you hate Ben and want to call in about your hatred,
Yeah,
please.
we only have 6 lines. So, but
Okay,
anyway,
go.
but I think. Oh God, how do I frame this
Oh,
correctly?
no.
This is a slippery slope. Okay,
think about this. Think about
no,
this.
I got
All
it.
right,
I
go
got
on.
it. JoJo said last week that she likes distinguished men that look gray. You know, have a little gray in them, have a little, and I think that men tend to age a little better than
You get
women
a
do.
pass. If they
You
don't
get-
age
okay,
better,
that's it.
they
You
get a pass.
You get a pass because, you see a lot more older men with younger women.
Right.
Some women actually like gray hair in men. I don't know too
daddy
many.
issues.
I don't know too many men who say they think gray hair on women is sexy.
Right.
Okay. So I mean, is that?
Roland.
What about the term MILF?
Well, that okay.
But that's
there's
different.
A MILF.
That's a young guy who has mommy issues,
Or
maybe.
GILF?
and then there's the old guy who has mommy issues, or the young woman who has daddy
But there
issues.
are women who are attracted to older men with gray hair
and a big bank account. I mean, that's one thing. No offense, but ladies, if you're looking at the guy and everyone else in the room is going, you really wouldn't have sex with that guy
until he
you
gets
see
in
his
the
wallet.
car or gets into his car.
Yeah, you got to think about, is that really worth? I guess it is worth it to some where it's like, look,
Hey, it's a mutual understanding. It's all it is.
you think it really is?
I mean, yeah, it is.
Should we name names? We know enough.
It's funny
No?
because later in the show we're going to be talking about documentaries or best shows on TV, and I'm watching the show right now called The Girlfriend Experience, and it's,
Oh, is that like on HBO or something?
it's on Stars, and it's Soderbergh, and it's about prostitution, and this girl's in college getting her law degree during the day, and at night she's a lady of the night. But the thing
She's
is,
ambitious.
she's ambitious, but prostitution's been around forever, right? I
Right.
mean, it's the oldest job for
That should be
going on.
legal before
Absolutely.
pot.
Absolutely,
It's like
and
you're paying
tax
for
the
it.
hell out of it.
Yeah.
But the point, the thing is that one way or another, here's another
Oh.
misogynistic thing. But one way or another,
Jamie, get ready with the button.
you're gonna be paying for it.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you have.
But my wife has way more money than me,
I'm not
so
talking.
is she paying for it?
You are. Yes, she is. That's why she's got such a hot guy like you.
Oh, you're stepped right in it.
You're gigolo.
Gigolo. No, he's not a
Migolo.
gigolo. He's a whore.
I am Migolo.
Migolo.
No, you're not a Migolo. You're a whore.
All right.
You're a prostitute. But here,
I have to sleep with that woman for the money. My wife.
I'm talking about
that's rough.
what I'm talking about is when you have a 65-year-old man dating a 25, 30-year-old woman.
So what do you think of that for real?
I think if it's mutual, I think it's the same thing I think of prostitution. That was my point. Is that if it's mutually beneficial and everybody knows it, it's
And
fine.
who cares?
Who cares?
I'm not I'll tell you what.
He's happy. She's happy.
But we're just talking
Who
about
cares?
we're just talking about getting old gracefully. And there's something about, like, even right now, I am not interested in a 20-year-old woman.
I
She's
know.
not a woman. She's a girl. I'm honestly not interested. It makes me feel creepy.
20 is a little young.
All right. Even say
Well, what about
25.
25?
No.
Oh my God, you're
It makes me
stupid.
feel creepy.
You're just your wife's listening.
people
That's what
no,
understand-
she's
she
not.
listens.
Trust me, she's not listening.
So people understand, how old are you then?
62.
You're gonna have to say it.
Am I allowed to say? I don't know if I've ever said it on
But
air.
the
I don't think
truth.
you
Yes.
have.
I'm 48. I'm
right?
old.
I can't believe you
Wow.
admitted that.
Hey, Miggs fans,
somebody
please
rode
still
you hard,
go
put
with,
you away
still
wet.
go with the 35.
So
Okay.
here's the other thing is that
Thanks.
and I forgot the other. I was trying to get you off that your age thing.
Thank you, Ben.
You just said what?
Well, Ben, I was just talking about. No, I was just talking. Now I forget how I said it.
All right.
No. I was saying about I wouldn't be interested in a 25-year-old.
Oh, okay.
Because here's the thing. I'm at some point, my body, which looks pretty good for its age, but it still
So
doesn't
say
look
you.
25.
No,
And
you got some wrinkles.
Yeah, things have dropped.
Have they dropped?
Yeah.
So here's what
2
I was.
watermelons in a downhill race.
Here's what I had brought up was a thought when I had separated from Nikki. You know, I was on a little tear in South Tampa, and let me tell you, it's not a bad place to be single.
I would bet it isn't.
It's not a bad place to be single and a job and a pretty nice car.
There you go.
But I was out to dinner.
And a penis.
And well,
I could say that. Right?
No, it doesn't. Really, I don't really have big penis, and it doesn't.
Oh, I didn't mean
and
about
it,
size.
And it doesn't.
I don't know why.
Oh.
Where did he get size? I'm just saying you happen to have
I
one
have
and
no
a
shame.
car.
It's not very big, but you know, by
By
the time they figure it out, it's too late.
They've
But anyways,
already been in the car.
so I was out to dinner with. I think she was like 23. I was in my early mid 30s. And we were sitting there. We went to Bernini, or what's the restaurant in Ybor? Bernini's.
I couldn't tell you how to get to Ybor.
No. We weren't in Bernini's. We were in. Anyways, so we were out to dinner. Pretty nice restaurant. And she was sitting there texting, right? And having a conversation. She's sitting there texting. And I sat there and I was getting so irritated.
Because you're trying to watch the game, which is behind her.
No, I mean, I'm trying to have a conversation with her.
Right.
Anyway, so I get up. I excuse myself. I go to the bathroom. And I had a little come to Jesus talk with myself. I looked myself in the mirror, and literally I was like, you know what? She's 24 years old, or however old she is. She's in this world. She's a millennial. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing, right? That's what That's what she do. That if you want to play in that arena, this is what you're gonna get. So I went back to the table. We had a great time.
You did?
Took her back, and
Hey.
So it all fits up. But that's what the point is. When you're that far away in age, and that really wasn't that bad.
But still, it's enough.
It's enough where it's generational.
Right. That's a different
it's
thing.
Like, it was like I needed, when I first broke up with Nikki, I needed a abbreviation dictionary.
Right.
To this all OMG, LOL,
but
SMH,
that's different, Ben. You were married.
LMAFAO, you know.
You were married, had a child, you had a divorce. It's okay to have that minute of like, well, I'm just going to go do whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't get that out, when you get into the next marriage, it's like then you still got to.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to definitely take advantage of my situation, and I did. And even with Nadia, I didn't really ever want to get married again. I really wasn't on my list of things to do. And then this freaking woman came in my life and shattered all those thoughts. But, you know, Nadia and I don't know if you remember, we had a pretty tumultuous.
Of course.
You know, we were broken up together.
Back.
Broken up.
Yeah, I got it.
And that was all because I didn't want to
commit.
Yeah. I didn't want to get married. You know, she wanted to have married and kids, all the things that I already had. So we would break up, and then, you know, I'd be alone. I'd be like, fired up for about a day, and then start to miss. And
there's
so
nothing great about being single.
It really isn't. But what it took for me is many times of us breaking up until I realized that my life is better with her than without her. And it took 5-6 times of her moving all her crap out of the house and moving out, not talking to me, and you know that whole thing, until finally I was like, you know what? And I made, you know, thank God I made the right decision.
Right. Well, you know what? To break the myth that most people have, at some point, it's all the same. Meaning the body parts become the same, different sizes, different this, but your brain is what tells you it's sexier or not. And once you can get beyond that and you realize, like, once you've done it all, what are you going to go back and do some more?
And we wanted to talk about that anyways, which is a good segment, or lead into our next segment, which we'll talk about. You know, it's easy to be in a relationship in the beginning. Right, during the honeymoon phase and all that, and then as you transition out,
the house, the kids, the Christmas parties,
and how do you keep it jazzed up?
I want to talk about that and Christmas party. And the holidays in general, because we went to the mall yesterday, and I would love to hear from you guys. 800-771-1025 if you have some crazy stories about going to the mall and trying to do Christmas pictures, which is what I do. I want to talk about the Grammy nominations, and more than anything, we talked a little bit about our face, and I want you guys to know, you mentioned
breaking news, Don's balls has dropped.
Oh, jeez. Mention the Miggs and Swig show when you're booking your appointment and save 20% off any laser treatment, Ben, or any package offered by our good friends at, I got to find their name, South Tampa Dermatology. It's 813-872-9551, 813-872-9551. Laser hair removal, tattoo removal, laser vein treatments. Women get rid of the that tramp stamp, acne scar treatment, IPL photo facial treatments. Everything until January 31st. 20% off by mentioning Miggs and Swig at South Tampa Dermatology. You're listening to Miggs and Swig Show. We'll be back with more Miggs and Swig.
Light, you're dancing like you're mine. Can't keep this inside. Don't pretend you're blind. It's time to cross the line.
Jamie's good.
Love Thy Brother. Love Me Better.
Featuring Ariel. Another Bright Antenna smash hit. Making some moves on the alternative chart. Two brothers from Canada. That is Love Thy Brother, Love Me Better, featuring Ariel. Let's turn it up a little bit for a second.
When you're not here, and I don't know if I have the right to wish that you would care. Just take me where home is tonight.
It's funny because they're Canadian, and Canada is very in the music business is practices a lot of nepotism. If you're a Canadian artist, you have a better. They have to play a certain amount of Canadian artists on the radio, which is great, and they give you money for grants for videos. Anyways, the whole thing. So in Montreal, we have to redo that song in French, and the guys got to sing it in French, and Ariel is gonna probably sing it in French, which is pretty interesting. She doesn't speak French.
No,
but it's hard because it doesn't translate. I mean, it translates, but it doesn't translate musically into the same cadences and all that. So,
well, that's funny. I just got signed in China as a songwriter for this group called. It's like literally called like Great Group or something, and it's a boy band.
Is that the translation of it?
No, I forget. It's some name like that. It's not Great Group, but it's something like Best Boys or whatever it is. And they needed some songs sort of like One Direction, and I gave them 3 songs, and they took all 3.
Nice.
And then they just offered me a publishing deal to take more songs.
See, that's what I've always told you.
To do that.
To write, produce, and because you get paid from record one. I mean, if you're listening and you don't really understand how the music business works, if you're a band, you basically take out a loan from a record company to make your album, to put you on tour, to do everything it takes, and then basically you have to pay them back. And
before you get a dollar.
Before you get a dollar, and the chances that you ever get paid, they pay them back are very slim and numb. Some of the biggest artists in the world aren't recouped,
right? Of course,
because they have been given such big advances. But anyways. Producers, managers, songwriters, and everybody else who's not in the band get paid from record one.
Mm-hmm.
And a manager gets paid when they go on tour and they get a certain amount. They get paid no matter what the band has spent to go on tour. They get paid off the top. So I've always told Don, going on the road and doing what he's been doing, writing records and putting out music it's a grind. And he's been doing it for so long. And I was like, why don't you just focus on your studio, music writing, producing, and just sit back and get mailbox money from record one.
Well, you still want to have, the difference is that when I write for me, I want to have something to say. When I'm writing for someone else, it's really not about having something to say. So it's still my whole balance, especially after meeting Lisa, right? When money all of a sudden was not an object, I needed to have meaning in my life. And meaning wasn't like trying to just figure out how to make more money. It was trying to do something that I could, when I have at that point, when I didn't have the kids, something that I could pass on.
So what about finding, do you do any co-writes?
Oh, now that's all I
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no, I
at
do
least,
it 5 days a week in L.A., I co-write. Matt Morris and I just wrote a song called "Don't Be Afraid." Matt Morris writes with Justin Timberlake. He wrote the big Rachel Platten song. This is a fight song, and that's all.
Wasn't that what's her name?
Rachel Platten.
Yeah, but who sang it?
Rachel Platten sang it.
No. I thought it was the girl who did the Super Bowl, Katy Perry.
No. She did
That's
a
a
different.
fight song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different one. But no, the Rachel Platten one is Matt Morris. So I do that now and do a lot of producing.
See, that's a sweet spot, man. That keeps you home with the family.
Yeah.
That keeps you checking for the mailman every day.
But then I go out and get to do so with China. It's not like it's crazy. I get $2,500 advance per song, and then you get residuals. So it doesn't suck, but it's not like I'm not going to get rich off of that.
But you don't get. I mean, unless you have made a song for Taylor Swift or somebody. There's not a big upfront fee.
No, but you know what you're getting now. You get a publishing deal. You can get an advance. It's still versus something,
right.
But like I have friends who have advances of $250,000, and so
just for publishing.
That's their publishing advance, and then that money has to come in that year, and he's gotten it for the last 10 years. So it can be had. All I know is if you hear a song that sounds like something I could have written in China in a different voice,
it's Don Miggs original.
Me. But I'm wondering how it's going to translate because it's going to be in Chinese, which will be interesting because my lyrics are certainly not in Chinese.
Actually, what's amazing is I just wrote a song that got picked up over in Egypt, and they're going to translate it to hieroglyphics.
Things are going well for you.
It's going fantastic.
Wow, that's right, just in time for the holidays.
Did the song go something like "Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto"? Domo arigato.
I'm not sure.
That's Japanese.
I'm not sure that's Egyptian, but I could be wrong.
Egyptian.
Wait a minute. No, because he said Egyptian. I said Chinese,
and I just said
Japanese.
Japanese.
You went to mine.
Yeah.
Hey, can we first get into? We were arguing right before we came back on air.
Were we arguing?
Well, you were arguing. You were arguing with me, and I just want to clear the air a second. You had given me something. So we're talking about how we're entrepreneurs, right? And so we do different investments. I have a tequila I'm working on, and you had sent me something on a whiskey. And I had said, I said, oh, wait, we're going to be working with the company. That wasn't from me. That's something from Jaron. But we're not working just on the whiskey. It's with the company.
Right.
What you had talked about was the whiskey. This is about really in the restaurant and the whiskey. Right. So it's a whole different thing because there's
you didn't even read what I
did.
So
I did read it.
Here's and we're going to start this thing on the show because Don and I have sort of this entrepreneurial spirit. I would say, me more than Don because my livelihood, is sort of dependent on the investments I make in companies. And the type of investor I am is I invest in jockeys, not horses, meaning, you
always invest in the people.
Right, because meaning you could have the best horse in the world, right? With the most potential, the most talent. But if you don't have the right jockey, if you don't have the right trainer, if you don't have everything else, it's never going to live up to the potential. Right, so we're going to start showcasing some people that Don and I know who have built companies from nothing, and some of the
or who are trying to build,
to build, and that have gone through pitfalls and what it takes to sort of make a company, and it really takes a lot of luck, a lot of hard work, because you not only have to have your idea, but then you got to go get money to have your idea, and then you got to execute and the whole thing. So we're going to start this thing, but anyway, so the whiskey company, this guy. I'm a sober, recovering alcoholic. Mm-hmm. Whiskey is not really something that I want to be invested in. But I met this guy in L.A., and to get back to the horse versus jockey theory, this guy is a hustler. This guy is exactly...
That's exactly what Jaron said.
This is the kind of entrepreneur that you want to put everything you own behind because he will not stop until... it's successful, and he started.
But you still need to be careful with that. Even that statement, there's a thing where you can believe in someone so much, but if you're last to the pond, and like I had one of my companies yesterday is a clothing line, Corvallis, and they're an upstart because we also have Natalie Martin collection. An upstart, same thing. No, they're not because they've been in business now 2 years.
They're a dyslexic startup. They're an upstart.
So we have a couple clothing lines. One, Natalie Martin, she's killing it. Barney's, if you guys want to get something for your wives, your girlfriends, you're on the side. It's NatalieMartin.com, and the Natalie Martin collection is great. But Coriolis is a bit more couture. I know that. I know how that word goes with the rest of it.
word.
And they're struggling a little bit with like, how do you get this thing out into the market? But I'll tell you what, you cannot replace is someone's passion and dedication to it, because Maria Coriolis, she's tireless.
Right.
She'll work all day, all night.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. I mean, like you said, that doesn't mean that it's going to be a success.
Right.
But
it gives you a better shot.
If
you believe in the person.
To get back to the horse racing analogy, a good horse is going to have much better odds than a good horse with not as much pedigree or jockey or whatever. And those are the odds, right? So it's still a risk.
Right.
But the odds probably going to go off in favor if you have a guy like Craig, who we will have on the show sometime, hopefully before the end of the year, if not beginning of next year. But he built this brand in L.A. on Hollywood Boulevard called Rock and Riley's Pub. It's sort of become this cool Sunset Strip Hollywood, place to hang out. Stars were hanging out, and then he took that, and then he opened up another one in New York City. And then he decided to come up with his own whiskey. And he has Riley's Whiskey now, which I'm an investor in. And it's unbelievable. He parlayed the brand, Rock and Riley's, into this whiskey company. And it's, who knows what's going to happen. But, but that's the kind of guy
you want to bet
that
on.
I want to bet on.
Right.
No matter if he's selling whiskey. And like I said, I have never wanted to nor have invested in anything that has to do with liquor.
I think you need to do things that appeal to you also. So I get you investing in the guy, but the one thing that I try to do is I want to like it. So I don't like whiskey, but I like the idea of restaurants and that sort of thing. But I love tequila. So I want to do a tequila because I love tequila. So that to me is sort of, I love fashion. So and Lisa loves fashion. So that's sort of a no-brainer.
Right.
So you try to do things that work for you. I do want to ask you something though. Talking about a little bit about money. This is a bit of an aside, but do you do holiday bonuses for people?
Yeah.
At your house and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's very few. I mean, I don't have the staff that you have, Don Miggs, but I have a nanny and our housekeeper and my assistant, and then Inga at the office, Nikki's dad's office, who still helps me out with my financials for my business. So there's not a lot, but I used to do presents and that whole thing, but. Then one year I bought my assistant, who's been with me. She's actually, we joke because it's the longest relationship either one of us have had. I hired her when I worked for Nikki's dad, and then she left and I left. Anyways, I bought her like a blouse one year, right, from Nordstrom.
She never wore it.
No, I don't know if she ever wore it, but then I thought to myself, like, buying your assistant a blouse is a little, not weird, but it's like, why? I'm sure she would much rather have cash.
Right.
So I do cash bonuses.
Yeah. Because I woke up this morning, because we do we give people money, and I'm always wondering if I'm giving too much or too little. And that came because last night we're out at dinner at Eddie V's with the kids after we got to get into Christmas. I don't know why anyone goes out to the mall anymore if you can order stuff online. But we went to the mall and then we went and had dinner at Eddie V's. And the valet guy, I have this thing where I give them $20 because then the car's up front, right?
So you give it to them when you get out of the car?
Right, and I got out of the car. Give them the 20, then they don't even give you a
ticket.
ticket.
But do you say
no.
Put it up front?
Nope. I didn't never. I would never say that. I just nonchalantly go, "Oh, here." And they go, "Oh, what? All right, you don't need a ticket."
Now, let me ask you a question. I know you have going to go, but when you get back and the guy's not there who gave you the 20, oh, okay.
All right, so
yeah,
we go to the mall. I give the guy the 20 because now I know there's a bunch of cars, and I'm thinking if he's going to pull me up front. And then I knew I screwed up because he still gave me the ticket, which meant, oh, just so you know, your car's going where everyone else is, but thank you for the 20. So he puts the car, and then when he comes back, it's a different guy. And it is awkward because I had more money, but instead, because it took so long for the car to come back, I was like, "Hey, I gave $20 to the other guy. Does he know?"
You didn't.
I did. Because I did give the other guy $20. I said, "Did you?" No, I gave the other guy 20. But we got to Eddie V's, and they were so nice. The car was right up front, so I gave him $20. I get out. And I was compelled to give him another 10. So now I paid $30 to have my car just be 3 seconds closer, which was a total mistake.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
What, you're gonna?
Well, you know what the thing is? Do you mark one thing that I had forgotten to do, and I think this is the first year that I actually put a list together. But I always had that fear: am I giving too much or too little? Usually, it's a fear of giving too little because I am Jewish, after all, and that's always in the back of my mind. But I had forgotten one year how much I'd given the year before.
Oh, I keep
So
Excel.
So now I have an Excel spreadsheet, but it was just one of those things where I was like, oh my God, how much did I give her last year?
Well, I went down on some people.
We had that
in dollars,
conversation.
in dollars.
We
Roland.
had that conversation last year, right? Hard economy, and I ripped you for it.
I all of a sudden feel like JoJo after that joke. We got to get into JoJo.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, time is already going too fast, but I want to talk about relationships when they go from honeymoon to old school. 800-771-1025. We don't have JoJo and Lisa on the phone, and I'm sorry.
On the show.
On the
They
show.
can
I'm
be on the
sorry
phone.
if that makes you not want to call in and chit-chat with just a couple of dudes, but that's what you got here. So we're going to talk about Grammy nominations, homeschooling, relationships. Still, I want to get into Christmas and more. Stay with us here on the Miggs and Swig Show. And you can do it here on The Bone. The Miggs and Swig Show. We do miss JoJo and Lisa. Ben, is there a JoJo? Did something happen? Was that on radio?
It was on live radio yesterday. And
JoJo, come on. JoJo.
Well, actually, I mean, the kiss happened live.
You need to set it up for those who
Right.
were listening to
Please
Drew's
set
show
it
last
up.
night.
So yesterday, Drew Garabo saved Christmas. Thank you, Drew. Like he does every year, and I think it was over 400 some odd bikes. I don't know what the final number was.
Yeah, it was over 400, which is, I think, believe a record for him. Bikes going to kids who otherwise wouldn't have them for Christmas.
And it's a great event. He's out there at the Walmart on US 19, and JoJo and I went, and we brought a gift for Drew from the family, DeBartolo Family Foundation, to buy some bikes, and he had us on a segment, JoJo and I, and we started talking about Miggs and Swig and how we're liking
Swigs.
it.
It's Swigs.
Swigs. And somehow we got into Drew's kissing habits of women on the air.
This is so this is a thing.
It's a thing. But the funny thing was, Drew wasn't involved in the conversation because, for whatever reason, I was saying that JoJo should kiss Seth, and that if they did, I would donate 10 bikes.
Which would have been better because if you don't know, Seth is incredibly awkward. That's just kind of how he is.
Okay.
Whereas Drew is a little more looser. Let's
Right.
just say.
So,
But it was loose enough to go in
But
for the kill.
For radio purposes, not that either of them are terrible people, but it's just for radio purposes. It would have been because knowing how awkward he is around other people.
Right.
It would have been,
more better.
entertaining.
More better.
More betterer.
So Drew, so Seth said he couldn't because he was married, and then I asked Soul Brother if he would do it, and he said he was married. So, I didn't even. I knew he had a girlfriend, so I didn't even bring him in the conversation.
So Drew has a girlfriend.
But at that point, Drew said, and I picked up what he was putting down. He said that his girlfriend had given him permission to go ahead and kiss girls as long as there wasn't anything, attached or any history, because I guess he had kissed somebody while they were going out that Drew had a history with.
Oh, no.
So I said, I will give 10 bikes, donate 10 bikes to your cause to save Christmas, Drew, if you and JoJo make out. And it was not even, well, I can't. I shouldn't do it. JoJo's like, I can't do it. I mean, it wasn't even, we talked about business last segment, and I made the number one business mistake you can make, and I negotiated against myself.
Yeah.
I threw 10 out there. I could have gotten away with 1.
Yeah.
Okay?
And a handshake.
You didn't even finish the sentence, and she was heading for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, really.
The video I see, she was crawling over, hands up on the face. She was going in like this was an Academy Award she was going
So if you
for.
want to go check it out, it is. I don't think it's on Miggs and Swig's Twitter, but it is on my Twitter. That is at Ben Swig, SWIG Radio. You can check out the video. I got all up in that faces. I mean, I was Martin Scorsese with that.
I
shot.
got to know more. So doesn't Drew, first of all, the two of you, Drew and Joe, you don't poop where you eat. You don't do it. You just don't do
Yeah,
it.
but this is sort of
It
it's
doesn't
radio.
matter.
Everybody
It's
sleeps with everybody.
everyone I'm sleeping with.
Interns and
Someone back me up on this.
See, I can't because it's radio, it's entertainment. For entertainment purposes, you do things like that. Because as long as you can separate, you have to compartmentalize. You have to separate. I did that. Yes, I did it with that person, but it was for entertainment. There was no passion behind it, no emotion behind it.
Yeah, I'd like to see their texts. I would like to see both of their phones right now because there is a text string after the fact.
So, anyways, there was so much going on that hour that I had. First of all, I didn't realize. I was thinking.
JoJo's gonna kill me.
I thought Walmart was like the dollar store, and this is embarrassing. But I've never been in a Walmart, and this is purposely. It has not. I've been to Target, but I just don't believe in Walmart, and I purposely have never been in a Walmart. But this thing was at Walmart, and I had committed to going 10 bikes. So I walked into Walmart for the first time in 44 years. And I went over to the bike section, which was luckily right in the front, so I didn't really have to, really go far into deep into the Walmart. But I didn't realize how expensive the bikes were.
Really?
I mean, I thought it was going to, $29-$30 each. So I was going to
get 1976. You're right.
So I was going to get away with like $300. Right. The bikes were a little bit more than that.
How much were they each?
I spent $776
per bike, which was amazing, folks. That's the kind of guy Ben Swig
JoJo,
is. Wow.
So I did that so JoJo could do what they both wanted to do anyways.
Right.
I mean, it was just so stupid.
That's the point.
I was kicking myself after, but hey, it went to the kids, and
that was incredibly kind of you.
I guess it made good radio, but JoJo, she is so shady. JoJo. I mean,
Joe, if you're listening,
it's not a big deal. Like getting the truth out of JoJo about her personal life is like trying to get a secret out of the head of the NSA.
She comes in all tired and like, and you're like, what'd you do? I said, I just laid around and watched TV. Really? You sound like you've just got in.
So you weren't on their show. You were away. JoJo was the same thing, all tired and raspy voice.
No, I was there. You guys went on the Mo's show after because she said to us, I didn't do anything last night.
I stayed home and crocheted.
Yeah.
And then SBK came in and said, that's totally false. I saw her out at, so-and-so bar last night. And Mo was like, are you sure it was her? Because SBK was like, yeah, I know what JoJo looks like. That was her. And,
Mom's on the phone.
Mommy's calling.
We're in trouble.
Yeah.
And so, Ben, I said, Joe can do whatever she wants. She's a grown woman. And you kept saying, what? Hey, Joe, how are you?
Not surprised that he would go against me, Dawn.
Unbelievable, Joe. I was over here saying she can kiss. Have you been listening?
Oh, I've been listening.
Yeah,
all right, never mind.
You know exactly.
Joe, what is up with you with your tongue? Keep that thing in your mouth.
Why? I could do whatever I want.
All right.
JoJo, now that you're on the phone, I have a question.
Okay.
Does Drew's girlfriend hate you?
Because more has been discovered since yesterday. More has been revealed.
Uh-oh.
What?
Is it true or false that you made out with Carmen?
That's true?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, my God.
It's true.
Joe.
It wasn't really a makeout. It was a kiss to get them out of football punches.
It's funny because...
I'm going to have to interject on that one because I saw the video.
Carmen, call in if you think it's different if you're listening.
It was definitely a different kiss.
To be fair, Joe was taking it like a regular kiss. Carmen was going in like she was lunchtime.
It's really funny because yesterday, I didn't know this when we were Walmart, but Carmen, who I'd never met Carmen, but she came into the Walmart right when we were right at the front. And said hi to Joe, but the way that they said hi to each other was it was a little like they were really close best friends, and they were like touching each other, like how you been. I mean, and then after they came out, they kissed. It all made sense.
But that's Joe.
It gave me a hug.
No, Joe.
You are immediately. You know what?
No.
One thing, and it's a good thing. When you're friends with Joe, you're immediately like her favorite person. She comes in for the hug. She's very. How are you doing? Tell me more about your life. She's got the whole thing. Joe's got a thing going on. And you know what?
I didn't know that I did.
You do. Come on. Stop it. And Joe, why don't you ever just tell us what's really going on? You really don't.
What's really going on?
You're very Ben, as I'm listening to Ben say this, I have to agree.
She's shady.
A little shady.
She's shady.
Well, of course, nobody needs to know my business unless I want you to know. But what am I shady about? Nothing. There's nothing I'm not truthful about.
Oh, what about the other night in the crocheting, or the other last month in the crocheting, and you didn't go out and you stayed in and watched a movie and crocheted?
There was an underlying issue that has been
Tell us.
That was one time, and I can't
Okay,
about it.
so
I
that's
owned up
sort of
to it.
like being a little pregnant, JoJo. Okay, when you say I always tell the truth when I'm asked, and I just brought up a situation where you didn't. So that would not be always.
Can I have your
One
phone?
time I didn't.
Can I have your phone just to read through some text? I got to know, are you and Drew text buddies?
We're text buddies. I don't know what you're implying.
I'm just
but
wondering
we're
if
friends.
after the kiss, there's been a lot of texting. Like, dang, that was pretty nice.
It was
kiss,
a pretty
man.
hot kiss.
I know it was.
But so JoJo, on a scale
couldn't even
of
watch
of 1 to 10, how good of a kisser is Drew Graba?
Well, I mean, okay.
Go
you have
on.
to take into account that there was a ton of people there with cameras out.
JoJo,
I
you
didn't
didn't even
really pay
know
attention
my
to
camera.
in the moment.
Hold
I
on,
know.
hold on. She tells me afterwards, I didn't even realize you were that close with the camera.
I
so,
really didn't.
so
No,
let's
that's
just,
why,
just-
because you were in there.
I was.
All right,
Okay,
so-
so on
It
a
was a
scale of
nine.
1 to 10, how good of a kisser is Drew Graba?
He's a very good kisser. I would give him a 9.
Had there been any other kisses? Will there be more?
There were none, and I don't anticipate. I think he's pretty happy right where he is, and I don't need to.
Yeah, why should he? He's getting milk for free all over the place. He's doing backward hat kissing left and right. Hey, Drew, listen, I got a little thing to make with you, Drew. Take the dang hat off when you're going to kiss someone. The turning the hat around thing. Come on, dude. This isn't a frat party. This is JoJo. She's a classy woman on her knees in front of you with her hands on your face and with being filmed by a million other people kissing you for bikes. Come on, this is classy.
It was for the greater good of the kids yesterday, which, by the way, they raised over 400 bikes, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like 500 toys. It was a really cool event. I love going out there and seeing that, and I'm thankful to be a part of it.
Joe, I bet you are. Hey, Joe, could we, for the children, if people came in with bikes, would you kiss them? Bikes for the kids?
I would think about that.
All right, good. Well,
All
that's-
right. So if you want to have a kiss with JoJo
It
and
can't
want
be
to
a
donate
used
a bike, it can't be a used bike. It has to be a new bike. It has to
Don't
be
ride over on it.
And you want to, we'll donate it, and you want to make out with JoJo. She is willing and able. So 1-800-727. I'm sorry, 1-800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025.
579-1025.
Excellent.
So, JoJo.
Yes, honey.
Joe, what are you doing
dirty,
right now?
Dirty little girl.
What are you doing right now to change the subject a little?
Now I'm trying to do some more good. Today we are out at St. Lawrence Higgins Hall to provide families, 15 families in Tampa Bay, a Christmas that they wouldn't otherwise would be able to have, thanks to the DeBartolo Family Foundation and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. So we just Santa just unloaded his sleigh, and we're getting everything organized and ready for all the kids to come and play today.
Are you going to have to make out with anybody for the this one?
Santa.
I think these ones might be a little too young here today.
No, do you have to kiss Santa so that then he gives the kids? Is that how he releases the toys to the kids? With a
I don't
JoJo
think
kiss?
he and Mrs. Claus have that same relationship that Drew and his girlfriend have. So there probably won't be any kissing here today. Maybe later tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you know
where the
Drew's
night takes-
girlfriend's name?
No,
right,
nobody
good.
does.
Good. It's working out well.
But
And
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, and I
She's-
meant no
she's-
disrespect to her.
She sounds like the perfect
kissing her
woman.
boyfriend.
She sounds like the perfect woman. All right, Joe,
All right,
we love
Joe,
you.
Listen, we do, but you're really
Thanks, guys, for holding the fort down. Don't ruin things for
All
us.
right,
Okay,
yeah,
I'd like to
too
be
late.
back next week.
Yeah.
too late on that.
Yeah. So
Bye,
we
you guys have a good show.
All right.
all right. So bringing in relationships.
How does that happen? How does you
Look.
there'd be no way I couldn't if someone said to me, "You're going to get paid." Hey Don, guess what? We just got you a spot on Law and Order. The part is you have to kiss somebody. My wife would be like, "Wait, but baby, it's just for TV. You're not doing the show."
No, it is amazing what some women and some guys are
And I
okay,
wouldn't.
are okay with, and there's that whole swinger lifestyle that some people are okay with having. In no universe would I be okay with watching or having some other guy bang my wife.
How about
it's just not
how about in fantasy?
fantasy football?
No, in your head. When do you guys ever have any sort of like, baby, hey,
No, it's funny
there are
because
9 guys outside watching.
not
or whatever
that
it
kind
is.
of role play,
Okay.
but it's funny because my wife and I, after a little pause because of the kids and everything, we our sex life kind of suffered a little bit, as it does, ups and downs, and it's on the rebound, getting back to where we were, and and something I talked about the other day with her is, I want to start role playing. I want to start doing some role plays, and I have some couple fantasies in my head.
Could you act as me when you're with her one time?
You want me to pretend I'm Don Miggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
just as a gift to her.
I'm
obviously.
like little things like I want to be in a job interview and you be my boss and
really,
yeah, and stuff like that. And then she says, I want you to be a 220-pound black man with a 10-inch penis.
Oh my!
And I was
God.
like, you know what, honey? There's some things that are
But
I
when
can't
does it
do.
go to that? Now, does that happen? That's what I did want to get into that a little bit. We'll do
Well,
it
let's
after
do
the
it. We gotta
break.
take a break.
But I did want to talk about how, like, at the beginning of a relationship, there's a certain thing that happens, and then as it moves along, what's new becomes old school.
Becomes a little vanilla.
Everything sort of changes. Yeah. So I don't know how it is for you, but 800-771-1025. We're going to talk about that and more. And thanks to JoJo for being on the show. You're listening to Miggs and Swig.
All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, Lisa, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts in sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
Well, welcome to your Saturday, December 10th. Christmas right around the corner. I guess all holidays. Is Hanukkah right around the corner? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a recovering Jew, but yes, it is.
I don't know.
Actually, Hanukkah falls on Christmas today.
Yeah.
This
It
year.
does.
It does.
Well, there's 8 nights of it, but
The culmination of Hanukkah is on 25th.
That's awesome.
so the last night of
Yeah.
Hanukkah?
Because my sister is Jewish.
Dreidel, I made it out of clay.
And my niece
You know
and
what? My
nephew are.
dreidel's ready.
He's gonna keep
Oh,
doing
dreidel, I will play. Hey.
So we're going to be. Oh, no. Yesterday we were at the mall and we went to do the Santa thing, and it is elaborate. You get online. I'm not sure what mall it is.
International?
Is that the one with Cheesecake
Yes.
Factory?
Yes.
Okay. So International Mall, go there. You get on this line. The kids make a badge.
Do you get on the line or do you get in the line?
You get in the line.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Just making sure. Just fact checking. Here on Miggs Police Show.
You get in the line, and there is a booth where you have to take a photo. You got to put all this information for the kid, and then they use this little tag, and at each station they can put the tag into a help me out, a reader, and it'll
Puts other pictures.
it gives them and each station gives them something, so that really it's a waste of time. So waiting at Santa when you're going through the packages and which pictures you want, you can do that. We go through literally. There was no one on the line, really. Took us an hour. There were, say, 6 people in front of us because of all the waiting for those 6 people to look through the pictures of their kid, like they're not going to get another picture next year, to go through which one they wanted to get. An hour, and the same song plays. Jingle Bells.
geez.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
You know what
dun,
the thing about that too is I remember going there once and the kids were on Santa's lap and I brought my cell phone to take a picture.
Oh, yeah, I don't want that.
No. I
know
mean,
why?
they immediately
Did the Santa police elves
Yes,
come by and
yes.
yeah?
Well, you know
put
why?
Put that away, sir. Like quickly, because they want you to buy the
Well,
pictures.
no, but good, because 2 women went in front of us, both with their kid. They went and did that. One of the women did exactly that. While the other woman was there, she's taking pictures. And then as they're getting ready to leave, she's on her phone, and the woman's like, well, ma'am, you go over there to pay. She goes, oh, no, I'm going. Oh, just a minute. And she looks outside of the booth, and she's like, Caitlin, just a minute. Walks out to Caitlin and makes a run for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa and I are watching this. We're like,
That's
what a
funny.
loser. But that's what tests your relationship. Waiting online for an hour. There's fake snow. You're in this one room with fake snow, and you're in the corner trying not to get the snow on you because you're going to be going to dinner afterwards. And it's not, I don't understand what the snow is, and it's gross.
It's asbestos.
Yeah, so we're staying. It's sawdust. Sawdust and
asbestos.
That is great. So we're standing on the side, and that is what challenges your relationship. Before the break, we were talking about. We talked about a lot of things today. We've talked about really JoJo
Absolutely
mostly,
nothing.
and mostly nothing worth you guys repeating. So I would say go
But
to
the
podcast
second hour
to
is
get it.
going to be
The second hour is
doozy.
going to be huge. But we were talking a little bit about relationships, and when they start out, when you're in the honeymoon phase is one thing, and then when you get into the 10 years in,
Right.
sometimes it changes. And I worry about this all of the time. And constantly. I actually.
Why? Because there's nothing you can really do to destroy. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I mean, relationships are a living organism. You have to work on them all the time.
Go on,
Speak
Jamie.
the truth, Jamie.
Absolutely. But the thing is,
Say it, brother.
if it's gonna fall apart, it's because you don't try.
You stop
so
working
Yeah,
on it.
because you start working on it. So don't worry over it. Just worry about what you not worry, but work on how you and Lisa are gonna evolve in your relationship as you get older.
It's funny
My
because
God, I think I love you.
Love me too.
in an early relationship, I think people get confused a lot with lust,
Right.
being in lust and being in
Yeah.
love. And I was reading this article, and it says in the beginning of a relationship, neurotransmitters such as dopamine, and dopamine is the receptors in your brain, like when you take a drug or drink to make you feel good, push the partners to have sex as much as possible. They scan the brain of someone. If you scan the brain of somebody in early passionate stage of love, it will look very much like the brain of somebody on drugs. But the addiction doesn't last. Research suggests that the chemical phase of the passion and love typically continues between 1 and 3 years, and then it starts to fade away for different reasons. And just like an addiction, you become tolerant to that, and that's why it sort of slows down, or it just moves into something more. You know, it's funny.
That's what you wanted to. Obviously, you wanted to move into something more.
And then if you can continue the sex, and like Jamie said, you have to work at committing to the physical part of it, because there's so much other things that happen that sort of turn yourself off to the sexual. And it's funny because last night I went to a friend's 10-year anniversary party, and he had always felt for 10 years that he didn't give his wife the proposal that she deserved. I think it might have been a shotgun wedding. I'm not sure. I think she might have gotten pregnant and that whole thing. So he got all his friends together, and we went to the Waterside Marriott right there on Baywalk, Riverwalk or whatever, and he was telling her that he was going to take her. I guess there's a new high-speed ferry that goes from Tampa to St. Pete, and they were going to go on the ferry. And they were walking along the Riverwalk to get on the ferry, allegedly, and then it stopped, and we were all on the patio. And he was, right before he got to the patio, he was saying, I never really gave you the proposal that you deserved. And right when they got to the patio, he got on his knees, and he proposed to her. In front of all his friends and family, and stuff like that. First of all, he made all of us look like chumps, right? Because every wife in there, including my own, was probably saying, how lucky is she that she has somebody to go. But it's like that kind of thing and that kind of thoughtfulness that I think keeps a relationship, fresh. And
it's always going to turn like. What used to be cute maybe isn't funny anymore, right? So, like, I say that all the time. I actually came up with that statement for somebody we know, and I was going to put it in a song, and I'll tell you off air who it was for. But it's one of those things where, like, my wife used to love when I talked about whatever it is.
Right.
And then at some point, it's like, stop talking about it, right? That kind of stuff happens. But that's what I'm afraid of. And I get it. I get it, Jamie. I'm going to treat you as if you are my wife. I get it. I don't want you to, honey, to think that I just want it to be new all the time. I just don't want to have that thing at night.
It'll never be new.
I know, but we used to always, and we still do, we always touch at night as we're going to bed, even if we turn over, And then the night that she doesn't,
something's wrong.
I can't go to sleep because I'm like,
what did I do?
Here we go. We've just moved.
Well,
we moved to the next phase.
It's funny when you say that the things that she used to love. I remember Nikki, my ex-wife. I still do pretty much, but the 11 o'clock Sports Center, I sort of watched it religiously. And when Nikki and I first started dating, she was like, "Oh, it's so cute how you watch Sports Center every night." And then fast forward, 7 years, 8 years. I can't believe you. All you do is watch Sports Center every night. It's stuff like that. And then it's also the little things when you first start dating somebody that you're able to put aside that bother you.
Well, the toothpaste. Someone leaves
whatever, or the toilet seat, or whatever the little things that would really bother you. You kind of push aside because you're in that lust phase, right? And then as you grow in your relationship, Miracle Grow starts slowly getting thrown on those little things, and then they become big.
Right. Well, that's what breaks up relationships, obviously. And I'm really lucky, and I know we make fun of the fact that I keep this togetherness log, but I do think it's incredibly important. So I want to know that we're having relations as many times this year, at least as many times as last year and the year before and the year before, if not more.
Do you think it's only sexual? I mean,
No. But I think that it starts there because it definitely it cures a lot of ills.
And I think it manifests itself.
It cures a lot of ills. If you're just being that intimate at some point,
Right.
it's no different than like when Lisa and I go on hikes, it's the greatest thing for us because hikes mean we're going to have a conversation. We just know because you're out now. It's one of those things we always wind up talking about things that we don't talk about other places when we're on hikes.
Until you go on one and she's really pissed off at you and you have a silent hike and you just like, God, this needs to end now.
Right.
And
that would be terrifying.
no, it's true because I think the sex part of it is a manifestation of what's going on in the relationship, and sometimes you have sex and you can tell that you're just having sex to have sex,
right?
And then there's other times when you're closer and the relationship's stronger at that point,
right,
where the sex is out of this world,
right.
And I think that's the key, I think, marker of where the relationship is.
Well, I think that's the thing you want to keep together. If your sex gets better as you are together longer.
And it should, because you understand each other's
right.
what you
Body,
like and don't like,
And you get, like, I know without, like, being too intimate with my wife and I, but then you get to a point where you get comfortable of trying things that you wouldn't have tried because you just wouldn't try them.
That's why, before the break, I talked about role play. And that's why I brought it up to Nadia to just, sort of mix it up a little bit and, pretend that, it's basically like porno,
right?
Like
you're doing your own
be
porn.
a nurse,
right.
She'll be a nurse, or I'll be a patient, or whatever it is. But I really, really want to do the going in for a job interview, and I'm going in for the job interview, and she's the boss hiring.
Do you want to know what you do?
What?
Even though she's probably
and
listening.
I just want to be utterly and completely sexually harassed.
Well, that's probably
like if you don't do this, you're not going to get the job, or you do, and I want her to be in control.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, there's that part of that, of course. You know what you could do? Tell your wife that you're going to something that it's so stuffy. You have to dress like it's business or something. The minute she gets all dressed in the room, all your makeup, the whole thing, then you just go,
gotcha.
And then you start right
Here's
then.
my resume.
Because then it isn't like it's 10 o'clock at night and she's thinking, I can't, I got the kids in the morning. Because that's the thing that really changes it, obviously. And the holidays being here, they don't help those things because there's so much more to do. There's, like the thing I was saying, there are bonuses. You got to think, there's Christmas cards. By the way, we're not even doing Christmas cards this year.
Really?
And we're not, I don't want to bring up the T word in front of Jamie. I don't want to bring up Trump. Trump, because he gets mad. But because of the election, my wife is like, you know what? I'm just not in the spirit this year. And not just the election, just the whole way it was so ugly for all people who are friends on Facebook and stuff. The way it all went.
Just nasty.
She's like, this year, I'm not going to do any Christmas cards.
But wouldn't that
we'll
be
come
sort
back
of
next
a sending that out like a what's the word? Like a re-energizing or just a reset button? Or
see, that's exactly what the whole holidays is supposed to be about. Is that you went through such, because 2016 for whatever reason was
awful,
god awful for so many
Even
reasons.
years are tough for me.
It was really, really bad for so many people. You can pick any dozens of reasons between the election, the celebrities passing away, whatever. So the end of the year, you should give out Christmas cards going, look, this was awful, but we got through it. I got through it. You got through it. We're still together. We're still close for whatever our relationship is. And we still care about each other. I still have you in my thoughts. Here's a card.
What if we just want to say, seriously, this is the last time you're getting anything from us. We sort of hate you. What we realized on Facebook is we hate you.
Let's get back to fantasies. Do you have any fantasies?
I got to tell you, excuse me, very important. Mo is texting me that he's enjoying the show.
I don't want to know Mo's fantasies because that goes.
So because Mo's
deep.
in the honeymoon phase. So right now she's swinging on chandeliers.
Mo's the kind of guy that looks like he gets really free. He could get like really like I wouldn't be surprised if Mo threw on some high heels and some some garter belts and
Are you a hotel sex guy?
The sex in the hotel is always better.
Always great.
It's always better.
I always make sure every window's open. And my wife and I'm sorry, baby, to disclose this, but like my fantasies are always like being watched, and like we're always at windows. I always make sure if we're in a hotel, it's like people are going to watch. I want them to see my wife. Get up on that, go near that window.
So you'll do it on the ledge of a hotel room?
Oh, in Santorini, we did it when we were in Santorini.
Where's that, Italy?
In Greece.
Greece, huh?
On our honeymoon, we were out back. Literally, if you turn around, which I did in my big white Bahookie was kind of up in the air. You turn and you look, and there was a whole ledge. That's from my.
Did you
my
make
butt.
that up? Is that a word for butt?
Because I have kids. It's in the show.
But it's a word.
Open season.
So anyways, your Bahookie.
Your furry brown Bahookie. So there was a whole ledge of people watching, and I didn't realize that till after. I'm like, baby, and they're all just sitting there. I'm like, okay,
that's
good.
a turn on.
Now,
I think that's.
Did they applaud when you were done?
No, I was a little embarrassed then, but that is a turn on. Like, I don't mind.
It was
My
probably
wife's
30
hot.
seconds of the best thing they've ever seen.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
It was good. They couldn't get their cameras up in time for it to be over. Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
No, I think public sex is a turn on.
Not on a beach or something. My wife, she's not going on a beach because she doesn't want dirt and sand and all that stuff.
That's the worst. Having sex on the beach is the absolute worst.
I always think on our run, when we're doing our hike, hey, baby, go over here. She's like, no bugs and all this stuff. I'm like, but wouldn't it be someone coming? They're like, She's like, no, that we're not doing. So the hotel thing's good. I don't think about dressing up necessarily, though I always do love when she comes out of the bathroom.
It was semi-sexy.
Right,
yes.
or there's just a robe on, and she's coming to bed, and you think she's going to have her T-shirt on, and she takes it off, and there's nothing on. You're like, game on.
It's such a simple thing. I mean, but something sexy to bed for a woman, do it, ladies.
Right. Or come in with nothing. Literally, that's to me is also sex.
And but that's the great, what's really a turn on for me, whether it's her coming in with something on, knowing that she wants to have sex, or naked because I know she wants to have sex. When I know that
she's into, you're not initiating.
Right.
It.
I'm just not like.
Right.
I have this thing with Nadi when I poke her on the.
You don't use your bell?
No. The bell doesn't work for sex. The bell she's trained for coffee.
Okay.
But
you got to train her.
But I sort of poke her like a little annoying little kid.
Right.
And that's she's like, okay.
Right. Well,
I guess I got to do this.
That does get to me. If I don't want it to be the charity. Right. And I know you can't always be into it, but I'm always like, baby, at least that part. Don't fake the end part. Yeah. Fake that part. At least fake I'm excited that this has got to go down instead of okay, we got 7 minutes because the kids are going to be awake. I don't care if it's only 7 minutes.
Now, do you like morning sex?
Honestly, I like it, and it doesn't matter to me. She could tap me in anytime. She likes morning. I like anytime.
Now, will you kiss her in the morning?
Yeah, I don't care.
So you guys will make out in the morning with the morning breath?
Yeah. And by the way, we both wear what do you call that?
Invisalign?
We both wear Invisalign.
Invisalign.
No, before that.
Oh.
We both wear the Invisalign thing, not Invisalign, but whatever thing at the end, and we take them out, put them up on the counter, with the lips,
God,
and go straight for kissing. It is a little gross, but then you just don't breathe. You don't breathe. That's going to happen. All right, we need to go to a break. I mean, I'm not really sure where this. I want to talk about 21 best documentaries, and I want to talk about the Grammys. And I'm not sure what else we're going to talk about. But you are listening to the Miggs and Swig show. There's no S on Swig. 1-800-771-1025. If you want to kiss JoJo, all you need to do is bring a bike in. If you want to kiss Drew, you just have to say you're going to bring a bike in. All right, Miggs and Swig, back after these words. All right, Miggs and Swig. I'll tell you what, during the break, sometimes we have the best conversations. We were just talking about tour buses and tour friends, girls who are friends on tour. And
if you listened to the show last week too, speaking of tour buses, JoJo came clean about her having relations on a tour bus. So that is something she did come clean with.
There you go.
Dirty.
Tour bus
and Mo.
Tour
but
bus
Mo's was a Greyhound.
Oh, really?
Or something, a tour bus that wasn't even, or a tourist bus that wasn't even his. And he met a girl at a bar, and they saw a lot of people get out of this bus across the street, and so they got a great idea of going in and having relations in the bus, and then stealing someone's Popeye's chicken that they left on the other seat.
Well, I was telling Roland that typically, especially like me, I'm married, and I am not someone who would do that. So I've never ever, actually, as I'm thinking about it, had sex on a tour bus all the years I've been touring.
What a waste.
Because my wife...
Why else would you be in rock and roll?
Because my wife and I, for me, my tour bunk is heaven. I close that thing, the world is gone, I can actually sleep. I love being on a tour bus in my bunk. But Roland was a little shocked that, so the people who actually get the women a lot of times happen to be the people who work for the guys in the band, because the guys in the band are busy doing whatever they're doing. So the women, if they're kind of hanging out, I can tell you that our crew on the Scott Weiland tour had a hell of a time where they would do things where if they were interested in the singer, which was me, and they knew I wasn't available, they would sleep with the merch guys. So Roland, you are a married man now, so it's not something you're going to be partaking in. But
Correct.
You tell the young ones that are from 18 to 25, get on a bus. Take $50 for doing merch and go find yourself some love.
And make sure that the lead singer is in a relationship that doesn't cheat on his girl, because you could be very successful.
Which reminds me, Don, you're going on tour. You're doing a solo tour in February. Do you need any help?
Do you need a merch guy?
I am. By the way, February 11th, I'm doing a show here in Tampa at the Straz Center. Thank you for actually saying that. I don't know how to get tickets, but I know that you can get tickets. February 11th, Straz Center. It's just a night where it'll just be me for an hour and a half playing music, which, yeah, I wouldn't go either. But if you feel like it, you go. You can throw things at me.
Speaking of music,
did
you see the Grammy nominations came out for this year?
Yeah. No.
What were your thoughts?
Well, first of all, when I looked them up, I put in Grammy Awards 2016. I'm like, man, how is Taylor Swift Blank Space getting a nomination this year? And I realized it was for 2017. What's interesting, too, is I put my marks in my paper that said who I'm voting for, right? But since the awards aren't until February, we have a short attention span. Like, the industry's going to already change by then. So I don't know if who I put down is...
But it doesn't matter. I mean...
now, wait, when you say voting for, are you actually getting an actual Grammy ballot and you're one of the people who are choosing?
I do get a Grammy ballot. I am in a thing. I've never once done the Grammy ballot. Never once have filled it out.
But you get sent one and your vote doesn't count towards whatever.
I mean, I have never actually... Let me explain that.
Wait, answer his question. If you did fill it out, would your vote count?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm when you're part of certain things, you can get on a Grammy. You can vote on a Grammy, but it's not worth. There's nothing about any of that.
Yeah, I mean, listen to this. Album of the year.
This is crazy.
Adele, 25.
All right.
Beyonce, Lemonade. The Biebs, Purpose. Drake, View, and Sturgill Simpson, A Sailor's Guide to Earth.
You know who's going to win that?
Adele.
Nope. It's going to be Beyonce.
No.
All right.
Betcha.
It's going to be Beyonce.
Bet you $2.
Adele's album has not done near. It's funny. There's a very big difference from being heard and being paid, right? So being played and being paid are two very different things. And I think that
I just think the Grammys are. You look at everybody was crazy when I picked Beck. Thought I was crazy when I picked Beck to win last year, and then Arcade Fire the year before, because we do it on the show. We'll probably do it more officially and throw our picks out. But they've always sort of snubbed their nose at pop music, and this year, really, all the albums of the year are really pop music,
except
Sturgill, but wouldn't he be pop in the country
he's pop
world?
Country, yeah, but he's a little more like real country. He's saying some stuff. I think Beyonce gets it because it was such a first of all, there was no fanfare.
But no, they didn't announce it, right? They just dropped it.
Opposite of Adele's album.
Right.
It was like, here's the album. And it was so confessional. I think the industry appreciates that sort of candor. So I'm going to tell you that she's going to win it. The thing that strikes me the most is crazy is what happened with David Bowie. He is getting up for something. Where is it?
Song of the year? No, it's...
Where is he?
Do you know what it was?
No, of course.
Of course, because we're live on the radio right now.
That would have been
we were
smart.
talking about it.
Wait, come on. Yeah, we were just talking about it. Rock album. I'm sorry.
Album.
So he's getting
it for sure.
Alternative music album. It's crazy because,
there it is.
And everyone will be out of their mind if he doesn't.
It's best rock performance too.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Star.
this: it's a great record for Bowie, but it is not one of Bowie's best. It doesn't go up against. It's not ground control to Major Tom. It's not that, but because he's dead, he's going to get it. I'll tell you this: if he didn't get the nomination and he were still alive, nobody would care.
Well,
Nobody would care.
I agree with you, but then again, I don't, because it gets back to the Grammys, and they always throw, Bob Dylan came out with an album, which, they always throw a legend into it, and they usually end up winning.
Yeah, but this is all legend. Look at alternative. This is how out of touch they really are.
Yeah.
They're saying for alternative,
PJ Harvey,
it's PJ Harvey, Radiohead, Iggy Pop, and then Bon Iver. And the only one that's really alternative today, I mean, Radiohead still is, and Bon Iver, but Radiohead is almost classic rock at this point, even though they're always still cutting edge. But if you could tell me one song on that album, I'd be impressed.
I mean, look, I'm a Radiohead fan, and I have not even heard the album. I'm going to confess. I mean, I haven't even heard it. But,
what about Mumford & Sons? Like
we talked about that, and I really, really am disappointed because I thought it was phenomenal, and I think that what I'm disappointed in is a great album, but it is so much different than what they've done in the past. And they adapt, and they were electric. They didn't have drums, and they were all acoustic.
In the past.
This
album is really, really good.
And it's electric, and they have drums, and the whole
The
thing.
Wolf is great.
And for somebody, what made them really good to me is that when you're acoustic, there's nowhere to hide. Right? I mean, you talk about being naked on stage and everybody's worst fear. Go do an acoustic. I mean, you're going to do a solo thing, and that is as close, because there's nowhere to hide, right? You can, as an artist, if you have sort of a, subpar voice, you can hide behind the mix, right? Whether it's the live show or the mix,
or your performance.
You just bring the vocals, behind the music a little bit more. But
this is your. I'll tell you what. There's nothing better though. I remember I just read about Springsteen said that he loved doing the solo tour because it actually helped him find his voice. Because you have to rely on different things. I'm excited because it also really, as you just said, there's nothing to hide behind in terms of the songs. They're either going to sound good or they're not.
Right.
So Mumford & Sons, to be able to, you can tell they're already a good band. It's not going to matter.
I think that album deserved to be somewhere on this list.
But what happened to 20? I'm not even a fan, but 21 Pilots is an alternative act. Why aren't they on that? Instead, it's PJ Harvey, who I bet she didn't sell
that category
20,000 records.
That category, you're right. That is a very weird category with some of those people.
Now, who chooses the nominees?
There's actually, I'm not 100% sure how it works, and I should know. I do think it's another thing. Somebody, if you're part of like songwriters and producers, sometimes you get something that says pick who you think should be, basically. And there's an academy of the very higher up. It's probably like the electoral vote versus the public vote, and they're the ones that decide these are the people we're going for. And there is, when you go down a list like this, it's mostly safe because there's some great music that was made last year that no one.
One's going
to get voted on.
I'm disappointed in this year's nominations. I think that usually they will put the Biebs up there as album of the year and Beyonce's, and usually they don't win. But but they also usually put in a classic act or a new act. Like Arcade Fire. Who knew Arcade Fire besides people who like music, really, and good music?
Prince didn't get a nomination.
But did he put out anything?
Did he put anything out though?
Yeah, or was it? Let me just tell you right now. He isn't the only recently deceased star whose last album was snubbed by the Recording Academy. His underrated Hit and Run Phase 2, released in December 2015, was the 39th and final studio album by the pop icon. It did earn a Grammy nomination in the production non-classical category. The album's absent from the R&B category. Prince has won in the past. So, interesting.
Who wins Best Rap Album, Drake or Kanye?
No, I actually think that's going to be, they're going to give you a little bit of a run for it with Chance the Rapper. That's a bold statement.
It's funny because I know we have to go to commercial, but I subscribe to this thing called Vinyl Me Please, and it's a vinyl record club. And
should I be doing that?
It's amazing.
Because I just got my vinyl going.
So you get an album every month. They pick an album and they make a special pressing of the album, and you don't know what you're getting. So it might be something, but it exposes you to new music. But what they've been doing lately is doing remakes of classics. So like a couple months ago, they did Beck, Odelay, and they do a special vinyl me because they have so many subscribers that they do a special pressing. It's a different color record. And it's only exclusive to Vinyl Me Please. But it's funny because they did the Fugees, the score.
Great record.
Great record. And so these past couple of weeks, I've been listening to because I was a hip hop fan,
right.
rap, but I've been listening to old school, rap music since that album came out. And one of those was Late Registration by Kanye. In like
great record.
Great record. And I just don't know, what went wrong or where it happened. But
what's it called? Vinyl
Me Please.
All right, I got it.
And it's like, $22 a month. And not only that, but they have a whole store that you can get other, it's not record of the month, but they have a whole store where you can buy special pressings that they do. It's a great company.
Well, we're going to have to go to commercial. But speaking of vinyl, did I tell you about ST Derm?
No,
South Tampa Derm. Real quick, I just want to let you know, because I said this before, and it's worth mentioning around the holidays again. If you mention the Miggs and Swig show, booking your appointment at South Tampa Dermatology, folks, up until January 31st, you are going to get 20% off of any laser treatment or package. That's laser hair removal, laser tattoo removal, vein treatments, acne scar treatments, IPL. It's the whole thing. South Tampa Dermatology. Don't be a goon. Call them now, 813-872-9551 for 20% off. And we are going to talk about homeschooling when we come back. 800-771-1025. We've been talking about homeschooling for 2 weeks now. We're actually going to talk about it. If you have kids that you homeschool, or if you have an opinion on that, please call in 800-771-1025. Back after these words, Miggs and Swig. Hey!
Terrible voice.
Oh, that's not good.
Is this Grammy album of the year?
I'm telling you, I am so excited about my new album.
When's the release date of this new album that we've heard so much about? Which I will come clean. I've said it on the show before, but I am very impressed with your new work.
Thank you.
I've listened to the album a couple times, and it's great. When's it coming out?
Oh, you got to listen to the mastered. I just got it mastered. Daryl
I have the mixed. I just didn't mastered. You sent me the mixed.
Mixed, yeah. But so Daryl Thorpe, who you're a fan of Beck and Radiohead, and he's actually getting ready to go do the new Foo Fighter record.
When is the album coming out?
We don't have a date, and the reason we don't have a date for it is I literally just figured out I am going to call the band The Whole Damn Mess. There was some talk like, no, we try something else. Call it the Queen and the Outcast. Use Don Miggs. I don't want my name in it. And I also want it to be a name of a band, whether that's a collective of people who come and do certain tours, and then it's just me.
But regardless, it's going to be hired help. I mean, they're going to be hired guns.
Yeah, I mean, there are two guys that did the record with me. The guy from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Who's amazing. Lawrence, he's going to be part of it. Lawrence Katz, and another really great songwriter.
I mean, are we talking first quarter, second quarter, third quarter?
I'm not putting it on. I don't think I'm going to Capitol. Which is
self-released?
Nope, I don't know yet. I sincerely don't know.
Self-release it.
It depends on what the plan's going to be. We're starting to get offers. Like we just got. I'm not allowed to announce.
Well, why would you? I mean, in all honesty, why would you want a label to do it?
Well,
you could. These days, I mean, you have the resources, quite frankly, to be able to self-release and to be able to do the marketing and tour.
Well, for me, Ben, it's more about legitimacy, because if I put it out on my own, then people are like, oh, the rich guys put, now it's a vanity thing. And this isn't a vanity thing for me. I work really, really hard at producing music and writing music, and I don't want anyone to think I'm just doing it as a goof.
All right, so we can expect that in about 2019.
Oh, that's not nice. I don't know what's going to happen, but I am excited about it.
It's good. It's good.
I'm going to go do photos with Kate Simon in New York.
Where's this name dropping thing? I mean, you would get carpal tunnel at this point.
No,
pressing that button so many times.
No, I'm excited. Kate Simon did the iconic photos of Blondie. So Deborah Harry, she did like Springsteen, Iggy Pop, what's his name? Bob Marley, the
Oh,
big
what's his name?
iconic one.
Yeah, so you're
did that.
gonna have some iconic Don Miggs pictures.
Well, I'm excited to go take a photo
That's
with her and
pretty
see if it's something
you look
that can
any
be
better?
used. Yeah, yeah.
She's
I don't
gonna
know
make
what's
you.
gonna happen.
She's gonna make you handsome.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. But February 11th, hey, Straz Center, come see me there. Get your tickets. Get your tickets now. Hey, we were talking about before the break.
Well, we've been talking a long time, about 2 weeks now, teasing for about 2 weeks, talking about homeschooling.
You know, we are talking with our friends about our kids going to maybe Tampa Prep, and when they go into high school or whatever. I think you can go there in 6th grade. But there is a part of me that wonders about homeschooling because Lisa and I travel a bit and we take our kids with us. And we have a place in LA, and we would ultimately, a lot of my business is there. I'd like to go really 6 months and a day here for taxes, and then the rest of the time in LA. But we have the kids, they want to be in a school. Do they want to be in school? Could we do 2 different schools? Should we homeschool? I don't know what to do.
I couldn't. I mean, we have some facts on homeschooling and some research, and it's becoming this trend more and more. And before it was more, atheists, Christians, Mormons, conservative, libertarians, people who didn't believe in the school system.
My people.
My people. And now it's sort of expanded to a much broader audience, and like 2.3 million kids are homeschooled every year. And to me, no matter what the facts are, and the facts of those kids is they perform better on SATs. They're actually getting a better education.
Right.
But they're home all the time. I mean, from a selfish standpoint, first of all, I couldn't teach my kids anything.
No,
right?
well, you could because you'd read it in a book.
No.
But tell me this. You did the Cletus trip. I just spent 2 weeks with the kids in L.A. and in San Francisco. And Sunday night before school started back up, I was
excited.
I was more excited.
Yeah.
That was what Christmas felt like.
That's my point, is that no matter what the stats are, no matter how good it is, and if you homeschool your kids, please give us a call at 727-579-1025 or 800-771-1025.
And it's not good for the social thing.
Well, it's not, but there, in this article we have that we will post on our socials at Miggs and Swig, everything, it talks about that that's a misnomer because these kids are still doing after-school activities, whether it be church or sports or whatever. So they are getting that socialization.
But are they? Because there's something about learning together also. Like I do have memories of sitting in a classroom
That's the thing.
with other kids in the classroom, and part of it was learning the discipline not to talk when you wanted to say something. That's all part of socialization. So now when that kid gets older, he's used to mommy and daddy listening to him all of the time, and he wonders why everyone doesn't hang on every word he says.
Yeah, and then the thing I'm also, like I was talking about before, is the teacher, right? My wife and I would have to be the teacher, and I'll be honest, I lost my kid in 4th grade. Yeah. Like he was studying, especially in the math, because they
it's
teach,
a different math.
It's a different math than we learned. And so I literally have lost my son's math at 4th grade.
But that's why I think it's important.
And I don't want to learn algebra all over again. Look, I don't want to learn statistics.
It's useless anyway. Just tell
It
them
is.
that. Tell
It
them
is.
that now.
Well,
you ain't never going to use it.
What angers me about that is that you do have to learn it. Learning it all again, I get all that. But then it's like you're worried about their science project. You're doing all this. And at some point you go, you know what? That's on him.
Yeah.
He either is going to get the grade or is not. And we've told the teachers too, I'm not worried about my kid being the smartest kid in the class. I want my kid to be able to actually engage in class and engage in life, because my kids' problems are going to be fending off all the idiots that the same way we do, who are in it because they hear the last name somehow related to DeBartolo.
Now, there were special circumstances. Do you remember that kid we had on the radio station, the radio show?
Keith Sedita's kid, the guy from the ukulele.
Yeah.
That kid was smart.
It was the most, I mean, he must have been 8, 9 years old.
You're going to see what he's doing now.
I mean,
he has a TV show.
This kid is going to be, the next Mark, whatever he wants to do, but he's going to cure cancer. I mean,
I'm going to have him back on.
We should have him back. It was the most impressive thing. You know that show, Are You Smarter Than a 6th Grader?
I
mean, he would have locked out. We would throw out whatever stat question we had, and he would answer it, and it was just the most unbelievable. You would think that we'd given him the answers.
Right.
And in that case, I can understand why they homeschooled him, because he was so far. He was Doogie Howser. You know what I mean? Yeah. He'll have his med degree by the time he's 18 if he wants to.
And he's nice, but I do wonder if we go and drop him in a social situation, how he will do in that social situation.
He seemed like off air and in breaks. He seemed like
to you.
Right.
to you, you're
Right.
you're an adult, so he's good in that world. I wonder how he would be in another world. 800-771-1025.
We have Matthew on the line one, and Matthew, you homeschool your son or kid, daughter?
We homeschool all of our kids. We actually have 7. Believe it or not.
Wow,
Matthew.
Well, that's a whole different topic. What inspired you to homeschool your kids?
The cost of sending them to school.
To be honest, our first child was autistic, and we had moved from one state to another, from New York to New Jersey, and the program in New Jersey was horrible. And he wasn't getting directly abused, but the way they were dealing with him didn't work for him, so it was sort of abusive in that sense. So we pulled him out.
Right, and then and your other kids who didn't have autism, you just continued because you had such success with the first kid?
Yeah, we just continued to homeschool. And I was just listening, you guys were talking about socialization and stuff.
Yeah.
My one daughter is 17 now. And when she was younger, 13, 14, she would literally walk up to people in situations if we were out and about or something like that, and she would walk up to the person and look them straight in the eye and shake their hand and introduce herself. And then we actually had an opportunity around that time to be with kids that were in regular school, and these kids didn't say anything to anybody. They were comatose.
Now, Matthew, do you are you or your wife the teachers, and do you bring somebody else in? How does that whole thing work as far as monitoring their studying or schooling?
Well, I work. I work a couple of jobs, and my wife does the bulk of the homeschooling. She's probably, we are a little bit, I am blessed in one sense. She's actually one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
Smart move.
She really, what she does is she requires a lot of work of them. We've seen homeschooling go good. We've seen it go bad. When it goes bad, it's usually because the people don't require their kids to do things, and they kind of just let them do whatever.
Right.
And coddle them.
Right.
We make them work really hard. We make them go into programs. There's a write-a-play program that Florida Studio Theaters does, and all my kids were required to do it. There's another program my son just completed called NaNoWriMo, which requires them to write a 50,000-word novel in a month.
Hey,
we're
Matthew,
getting yelled at.
We have to go, but I have one quick question, if you don't mind us telling. Your 17-year-old, has she taken the SATs yet?
Yes.
Do you mind telling us what she got on it?
I'm sorry. No, she did not. It wasn't required. She's going to music school.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Well,
I like that.
Thank you for calling in. And we, unfortunately, we would have time for one more quick one. All right,
We should have done this earlier.
Julie, you're on the Miggs and Swig show. Hi.
Hi. No, I was just calling in. I heard you talking regarding the homeschooling and socialization.
Yeah.
One of the things I would just say is if you're homeschooling, a couple things. One is it does take a lot of time and dedication from the parents in order to give a full-rounded curriculum. But also, if you're in homeschooling, you will find if you reach out, there are communities that homeschool that give the outings and the socialization aspects of that.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Unfortunately, we literally out of
that's
show.
interesting though. Because there is that whole aspect of the socialization. That would be besides that. I don't want my kids at home.
Right.
Would be the other part of it, the socialization of it.
The kids don't need to. They don't want to know how. I don't want to know how sausage is made. The kids don't want to know how I am all day
you
long.
miss out on it. And there was a period in the I'm going to just make a quick sports analogy, but in the NBA where LeBron James skipped over college and went straight to the pros. And one of the things that I had a problem with, not that he went straight to the pros, but college. My college years were some of the best years of my life because of being, free for the first time, being able to hang out with other kids, and that's the part that I, think that they missed out on is being around college kids or being around school and other kids every day.
Well, next week, please make sure you tune in because I think next week Ben will get Botoxed, and we can maybe find out who else JoJo has kissed. There's going to be a lot going on the show, but we appreciate you being with us this week. What do you got there, Jamie?
We got to do our 20-second take wrap-up. I'm going to go first so you guys can have time.
Go ahead.
The men behind Backpage.com had charges of pimping dropped by a federal judge. An overeager general attorney wanted to make a name for herself and tried using Backpage as her soapbox. She got smacked down, rightfully so. And it's time that we, as a nation, realize that prostitution needs to be decriminalized. If two strangers meet in a bar and hook up, it's not illegal. But if money changes hands...
All right. I like that, though. I like that. You got something, Benny?
Go ahead, Don. I have nothing.
I don't know what I have. Hey, the whole world is upside down these days, folks, and Judge Reinhold, the guy from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, proves that getting arrested for disorderly contact. Judge, keep it in your pants. And Trump gets to keep his stake in Celebrity Apprentice and is trying to keep his interest in Trump real estate. I'm not sure what part of America is getting great again with this, but I'm just saying... All right, that's fine. I could have ended it with a different way, but I'm just saying.
No, I thought you were good. All right, and to wrap up the show, Ben Swig.
I have absolutely nothing to talk about. Believe it or not, this is the part of the show that I absolutely hate because I'm A, on time, and B, I can't fit anything into 20 seconds. But I just wanted to wish everybody a happy holidays and be very grateful this time of year that you're surrounded by friends, family, and loved ones.
Wow, that was terrible.
So cheesy and terrible.
That was terrible.
It was awful.
Hey, everybody. Coming up is a Cat Named Mo show. And we'll be back with you next week. Thanks to Jamie and Roland. Ben and I say bye-bye.